Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Oh my gosh. What's going on, folks? It's your main man, Rick the Dawn. And look, are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? I know what I've heard it all. I heard it all. This season is a wash. Terrible contestants this year. I've heard just about all of that. And the question remains, are you not entertained? What a heck of an episode. And I got a lot of thoughts on it. It's late because CBS did a double eviction on a freaking Thursday. But I wanted to get this out because it was just like insane. It's a good episode in my opinion. Before we do all that, thank you to the amazing people who clicked on the video and the amazing people who like the video, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. I appreciate that so much. And this episode is brought to you by my company, wordy.com and brokenheartshirts.com. Check it out. All right, so here we go. A lot to recap here. And in the middle of some of the recapping, I'll throw in some, some other stuff. But here we go. So the episode starts off with Julie. She's reading this blue card. If you happen to check out this episode, I want you to look at how Julie is reading the blue card so aggressively. Usually, Julie is, pretty on point. But in this episode, she's reading the blue card as if she forgot her lines or something. Check that out. It's like a little something random that some people will notice. What's up, Tim? What a show. It was insane. Oh my gosh, so much to unpack. But anyway, Terence has to go because Michael doesn't want to sit next to him. So I'm going to go through this, go through my notes sequentially as if I don't know the ending. But Terence has to go according to Michael because he doesn't want to sit next to Terence. He knows that if he's on a block next to Terence, he'll probably go home because people want to save Terence. All right. Alyssa plays the woman card with Taylor and Brittany. So at some point in this episode, Alyssa goes and talks with Taylor and Brittany. And believe it or not, they come up with a all-women's alliance. What do you think about that alliance? How long did it last? So this is what, the second iteration of the Girls Alliance? Hey, you can't make it up. Anyway, Alyssa thinks the three can be a power trio. Brittany is all in because she fears Michael's days are numbered. So Brittany, once again, showing her true colors when it comes to Michael. A friend and whatever, but at the same time, she's seeing dollar signs. So she realizes that at some point, this challenge beast is going to be pretty much out of there. I mean, she's been riding this challenge beast back for the entire season, and I think she starts to realize that at some point, this beast is going to croak over. So she's already creating secondary and tertiary plans. And in this case, it's with Alyssa and Taylor. All right. Taylor admits to wanting Terence to go because his allegiance changes like the wind. So you would have thought, at least if you used, Kyle's frame of view, that Taylor and Terence would have stuck together a little bit better in this season. Not even close. Taylor, true to form, cannot stand Terence, and who can blame her? The beginning of this season, Terence was pretty disrespectful, called her a lot of names, and when he thought that Taylor was on her way out, Terence had no problem just kicking Taylor while she was down. So now that Terence is on the opposite side of the spectrum, she has no interest in trying to save him. So that happens. All right, Tim says you can't have an all-girl thing. Guys might get mad. That certainly happens in this episode. We also see a all-guys alliance, and wow, if you know, you know. But anyway, Taylor ends up what is this? Taylor admits to wanting Terence to go because of his allegiance changes, and then Terence says that he'd like to see a person of color win, but Taylor isn't buying it. She knows Terence is playing the race card, so this is something that happens in this episode. Terence goes to Taylor and proposes this grand scheme, and he basically lays it out that he wants a person of color to win. And I'm still not used to that term. It's like POC. I got to get used to whatever. So he wants a person of color to win, and Taylor just doesn't. She's not reciprocal to it. She doesn't like the guy at all, and she feels that, and she says this, and I quote: "Too little, too late." Yeah. All right. And then Terence pitches all black alliance to Monty. So it's like, this is Terence's last and final battle cry. He's trying to create this all black alliance, if you will. Monty seems to take the bait, stating that Alyssa will float to the end. Monty made some strong comments about Alyssa. He pretty much pointed out the fact that she is going to skate by to the end. And I have to ask anyone who has any opinion about this: is Alyssa just skating through the game? I mean, I kind of feel like she's had the easiest road so far. She hasn't won anything, right? And she's barely touched the block. Well, no, I want to say she's touched the block maybe 2 to 3 times, but certainly not as much as some of the other players. And here she is. She's in the top 5. I mean, how do you read that? For me, Monty might have a point. She might just float to the very end. Okay, I want to know what you think about that. But anyway, Monty confides in Taylor. Taylor still wants Terence out. Monty goes to Taylor and lets her know everything that Terence had proposed, but it's just not working for Taylor. She wants this guy out. Monty seems to be a little bit more susceptible to some of the things that Terence was saying, but it doesn't really work for Taylor. Then they pan over to the jury house in which Indy enjoys the jury house, and she's just kind of having a good time all by herself. But it was hilarious. You got to see it. If you didn't see it, go check it out. While Indy is enjoying her solitude, like this random person just pops out in red, and she's in the background. And I'm telling you, if they would have played like horror music, it would have fit perfectly. Because there you have Jasmine in the all red and black suit of all things. It's a suit, all right, and she just pops out like, and she's in the background. It's kind of blurred out, and I was like, wow, what a way to destroy paradise, because that house or that jury house won't be the same once Jasmine is there, and I'm proven right. Anyway, after Jasmine shows up, Joseph comes through and has to explain his role in the leftover. So once Joseph makes it to the house, he has to break down and explain everything that has happened, because by this point, Jasmine and Indy both understand his role in the leftovers, and they are pretty much upset about everything that they thought was true. But Joseph does a great job with just kind of easing his way into the jury house and, for all intents and purposes, explaining his role and how it wasn't personal. And he also got played. All right. My main man, Tim, says, I really thought that would have been the dumbest thing for Monty and Turner to try and work with Michael. Michael would not hold any of that to heart. I'm getting there, because you know what? I got a lot to say about it. I'm getting there. All right. So Jasmine states that Michael cannot be an escape room operator. So at some point in this episode, they started to discuss people's real occupation, and Jasmine is right on key. Look, she's not as a goof as you might think when you hear her talk and you see her mannerisms. She kind of picks up on things, right? And I think she's the kind of person that picks up on the truth, but sometimes doesn't know that she's right. She's so lighthearted, she doesn't really take herself seriously. But yeah, she picks up on the fact that Michael is not an escape room operator, and I'm not sure how she picked up on that, because for me, if Michael was winning all of these competitions, I would argue that he is an escape room operator, because how else would he understand all these games? So for me, I think she was better at deciphering that than I am, because if I was in a game and I saw him winning all these competitions, I would say that a escape room operator fit his bill. I would say that's probably exactly what he is. Anyway, Indy throws real shade at Brittany, says that she never wants to see her face again. This was surprising for me. In this episode, Indy had an issue with Brittany that I did not know existed. As they're talking about the game and the remaining contestants, Indy points out that she just doesn't want to see Brittany's face again. I have no idea why. I think it had a lot to do with the fact that she's been riding Michael's coattails, allegedly. That's my guess. I couldn't figure out any other reason why Indy would have an issue with Brittany. Anyway, eventually Kyle enters jury and comes clean. It's hard to watch. Indy goes off. She says that we have the internet. Educate yourself. This was a hard part to watch for me, because eventually Kyle does enter the jury room, and I was just so happy to be done with this whole race debate. But this brings it right back to the surface, because now Kyle has to explain why he's out of the game, and as such, he has to bring up the fact that race was involved, and he also shows footage of his exit. And upon seeing that, it brings out some really strong emotions and the players in the house. And the one who reacted the strongest was Indy. Indy got really upset. She got so upset that she took her mic off and had to just, go away from the cameras for a while. And she said something that was very interesting. I was like, okay, never heard that one before. She says, for all intents and purposes, she says, "Hey, we have the internet. Go educate yourself. Like, why are you still thinking this way? Whatever. That's something she says." And also, Jasmine has some strong reactions. Joseph even has some strong reactions. But once again, I would argue that Kyle shows a lot of he humbles himself and he admits that he has some things to work on. And for me, you know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I don't care. All right, anyway. Joseph and Jasmine call out Michael holding on to the Kyle info. So this was interesting as well, because as they start to think about what Kyle was saying, they're starting to put two and two together. Like, okay, Kyle, when did you say this? And Kyle points out when he says it, or at least he alludes to it. And Joseph and Jasmine start to figure out, wait a minute. Why did they hold this information until this very opportune time? And of course, once again, Jasmine stumbling on the truth. She realizes that there's more to this picture than, Kyle might be aware of or letting on. She starts to figure out that Michael held on to this information for a particular reason. But anyway, Brittany lets it slip that Alyssa wants to start an alliance with people with similar characteristics. Oh my gosh, look, you can't make this up. So at some point in the episode, Brittany is doing her big brother strategy gameplay. And we know when Brittany starts to strategize, she absolutely destroys people's game. You saw what happened with her and Pooch in the little refrigerator room. When she plays terribly. And it's, if she were to win this game, that'd be upsetting for me. I would argue that Brittany is my least favorite to win this game. If it was Brittany and Alyssa on the block, I'm not on the block. I mean, in the finals, I'm going Alyssa. Just Brittany is just, man, don't know how to say this nicely. It's just not a good player in my opinion. All right, not a good player in my opinion. But she's talking to Turner, and of course, true to form, Brittany lets it slip that the ladies are conjuring up this new idea to create an all-girls alliance. But she doesn't say that explicitly. She says that Alyssa wants to start an alliance with people with similar characteristics. And of course, Turner being pretty intellectually sound, he figures it out really easily. Like, okay, well, that sounds like an all-girls alliance. It's like, Brittany, come on now. That's the second time you've blown up an alliance or blown someone's cover. And it's like, at some point, she just gotta, Anyway, Turner reads between the lines and proposes a all-male alliance. So, Tim, this is kind of where you were talking, or what you were talking about, because Alyssa, Taylor, and Brittany are discussing this all-women's alliance. The guys start to figure it out. Wait a minute. If we all destroy each other and we battle each other because, they're the most dominant in the game right now, you can make an argument for Taylor being in that mix. But because Monty, Michael, and Turner are the most dominant in the game right now, they figure, hey, if we all destroy each other, that'll leave the ladies with the easy road to the finish line. And they start to figure it out. Like, wait a minute, we can start in the lines as well. So that happens. All right. Monty considers keeping Michael as he is a big target. This was an interesting part in this episode for me, because at some point Monty considers and ponders the idea of keeping Michael as a shield. And I thought that was a good idea to a certain extent. Look, if you keep Michael in the game, you're rolling the dice, because you don't play around with a comp beast. You don't play around with any beast, right? And Monty considers keeping Michael in the game because, look, if he's in the game, that's always one person that is a bigger threat than he is. And if you know the conclusion of this episode, you have to start to wonder, did he make the right move tonight? Because now Monty is head and shoulders the favorite to win the game. And I would argue even over Turner. That's my opinion on that. I think Monty has placed himself firmly in the number one seat, in my opinion. What do you think? Let me know what you think about that. All right. Anyway, Monty knows that the ladies would love if the guys picked each other off. Taylor asks the house who's lying about their real job. So there's a interesting part of this episode when everyone's at the table and they're looking around at each other. Taylor is just like shooting the breeze. It's not serious to her. She has her sunglasses on, and everyone is just pretty much talking about who might be lying about their profession. And the players that come up most notably are Monty and Michael. Okay, so those two did not really fit their profile in accordance to what they said they do when they came in the house. I believe they said Monty looked as if he might have been in the Navy, and Michael, I forget what they said they thought he was, but they certainly didn't say attorney. But Michael does make it known that just like an attorney in the courtroom, he knows how to stick to his alibi so he doesn't break character. Okay. Taylor asked the house who's lying about their real jobs. All right. The guys come up with a plan to go after girls, but not nominate their friend. This was a very interesting part of the show. So eventually they pan to this new space where Monty, Michael, and Turner are having conversations, and they do agree to this all guys alliance. And I like this new caveat that they added to the equation. So apparently, depending on who won, they would not put up their, their ride or die in the house. For Turner, if he had won or whatever, he would not be able to put up Alyssa because that was his number. And of course, the three gentlemen decided to work with each other in terms of jury management. So they didn't want anyone in that three to get any blood on their hands that might actually damage their chances of winning. So they all agreed not to target their friends. So in this case, it was Turner not targeting Alyssa. It was Monty not targeting Taylor, and it was Brittany not targeting, Michael not targeting Brittany. And I thought that was pretty interesting. All right, if only it had lasted. Okay, next. Terence threatens house guests that he will taint the jury. So we fast forward to the evictions, and everybody pretty much knows where this is going. Even more so if you've been watching the live feeds. I don't watch the live feeds, but even I knew pretty much what was going to happen tonight. But Terence shoots another Hail Mary, and he basically threatens everybody, not just Michael in this case, but everyone. He says, hey, I'm just letting you know I'm playing a certain kind of game. If I go home, I'm tainting the jury, and I'm going to let them know all. He said, this is what he says. He says, I'm going to peel back the onion. All right, if you can believe that. All right, here we go. Terence is evicted 4-0. Terence does a Daniel. In his own words, he says, hey, I'm going to go ahead and do a Daniel. And he walks out the house, grabs his bags, and doesn't discuss anything, doesn't talk to anyone, no hugs, no goodbyes. And a lot of people, I'm sure, felt that was very unclassy of Terence. Me personally, I would have probably reacted the exact same way. You kidding me? You just voted me out of a $750,000 game. You think I'm going to give you a hug? Not even close. But he does save face. He does kind of, in my opinion, explain very well why he did what he did, why he did a Daniel, as they might call it from this point forward. I feel like that's going to catch on. But I feel like he explained it well. He was in the moment, and as Julie is talking to him, he says, hey, I'm upset. I'm a little upset about what happened. I pitched something. They know that Alyssa is a real threat. This was another part of this episode that was really interesting to me. They talked about Alyssa's allegiances in the jury house, and I'm gonna tell you, I didn't consider that until I heard someone say it once or twice. But in the jury, Alyssa is sitting pretty. I mean, she has really no strong enemies in the jury house. She has Kyle over there. She has Jasmine over there. I think Jasmine might have a grudge against Joseph or Alyssa, those kind of players. But for the most part, she has a really strong backing in the jury house, especially if the ladies say, hey, I want a woman to win this season. That's even stronger. So I think Terence was upset with the fact that he went out over Alyssa, given the fact that Terence really doesn't have much going on in the jury house. But the person who took the shot at Terence was Michael. Michael is the corporate behind this particular move, because Michael did not want to be sitting across from Terence in a eviction chair, because he knew what would happen. They're definitely going to get rid of Michael over Terence. All right. What's up, Tim? Tim says that was a good idea to not target their people. I agree. I love that idea. And if only they would have went through with it. The fact that they had insulation and had one player that they were willing to protect him, I have to say that I really admired that decision, that move. But again, if only it would have worked. And next thing I saw was Monty and Michael worry about time gap in show. All right, so there was a funny part in this. It wasn't funny, but I find stupid stuff funny. So as Terence is, you know, pretty much wrapping up his conversation with Julie, they pan back into the house. If you know how the show runs, you know that sometimes they'll go back into the house, the mics are still on, and they're just having these casual conversations. And you could see Michael and Monty, or hear Michael and Monty having this conversation about, like, hey, so you know, what's going on? And Michael's trying to, like, you could tell Michael is nervous. He has nervous energy. He's like, oh, you know, Julie's probably just wrapping up the interview with Terence and saying, hey, everyone, come back on Sunday so that you can see the, you know, at 8 o'clock. So Michael's like, you know, trying to picture what's going on outside the house, because in the back of his heart, in the pit of his stomach, he knows that there's a surprise. And I think they might have been talking about this prior to Julie revealing it. But he can tell that something's up. He has that nervous energy. First off, he can't even believe he's made it this far because he's been so good. And he just wants the episode to end. He wants the night to end. He wants to get in his bed and thank his stars, because he knows that he shouldn't be this far in the game. But just as that happens, Julie does come back on and say, hey, I got some information for you. I need everyone to come in the room and have a seat. And everybody's like, oh, here we go. Everybody knew what it was. And I want to give a special shout out to Taylor. Taylor looked absolutely amazing in this episode. Just stunning. Okay, when she voted, she had on a nice red dress. And I have to say, she carries herself very well, very classy, very beautiful. I had to note that, because I'm telling you, and I'm married, so I'm not saying it in a sexual manner, but certainly just a woman carrying herself in a very elegant manner. And I think she gets that from her pageantry days and things of that nature. They teach class, and it certainly looks so good on her. In fact, I would argue that I won't even spoil this part. I have something I would like to reveal later, but certainly the way that she carries herself, in my opinion, is doing wonders for me. You know, I wasn't a big Taylor fan, but I'm starting to be won over because she just carries herself in a certain manner, and I find it gravitating. All right, anyway, Terence notes that he was most loyal to Daniel and Nicole. So at some point, as Terence and Julie are having conversations, Julie kind of calls him out and says, your game was messy. You seem to jump from boat to boat, from ship to ship. Was there anybody in the game that you were actually loyal to? And, you know, I could not believe what I heard Terence say. Terence says, yeah, I was loyal to Nicole and Daniel. I said, are you serious, Terence? Oh gosh, this guy's insane. Anyway, Terence says he wants Taylor out next. So Julie does ask Terence, so what's going on? Who do you want out next? And of course, the rivalry is strong with those two. And Terence notes that he wants Taylor out. I mean, come on, Kyle. Really? A Cookout 2.0? If you could only see what we're seeing, there is no allegiances here, okay? All right, not even close. Anyway, the HOH comp takes place, and it is a light-based memory competition. I'll be honest. When she explained the rules to this one, I was like, okay, I'll just watch it because I don't know whatever. It was an ugly competition. It reminded me of that weird, ugly competition that they had for you know, the one, a psychedelic animation one. It was ugly like that. But you know, I paid attention. I was watching, but I was like, it was ugly to look at to me. It was low res, kind of like this video. But anyway, so it turns out that your main man Turner wins the HOH. And he kind of smokes everybody. I think the only runner-up was Monty. And if you watch my other episode, then you know I had Monty pegged to win. And I was like, dude, I was so close to picking this. But it didn't really matter because it was Monty's HOH. If you know, you know. This was Monty's HOH, regardless of who won it. But anyway, Turner wins the HOH. All right, I'm over here kicking it with you, Tim. What you talking about over here? I really thought that would have been the dumbest thing for Monty and Turner to try and work with Michael. Michael will not hold any of that to heart. Let me see. I already read that part. What did you think about all of them sleeping when the show started? Never seen that before. Kind of think they told them to do that. I didn't even see that part, Tim. So apparently they were sleeping, or did I see that? I don't remember. I don't remember that part. And I was watching from the minute the show came on. I didn't catch that. Actually, I would like to know what you thought about that because you saw that. And maybe you already told me the show told him to do it. I didn't see it. I had to check it out again when I watch it back. But Turner wins the HOH, and of course, sticking to the early agreement between Michael and Monty, Turner does something that's really strange to me. Look, before the episode ended and I saw the conclusion, I already had my title. That's what took me so long to drop the video, because I already had my title made up in my mind, and the title was going to be very clear. Did Turner just hand Michael $750,000 because Turner puts up Brittany and Alyssa? And I said, you cannot be serious. That's who you pick. That's who you're going to put up on the block. I understand this whole males alliance thing, but are you freaking kidding me? You're going to leave Michael in the game? So my title would have been, did Turner just hand Michael $750,000? But of course, we saw what happened next. Anyway, the veto takes place. It is a untangled competition. Now, I've talked with some friends who criticized CBS this season for not having many physical competitions, and they felt that that was the reason that Michael was so dominant, because there wasn't enough physical competitions, or many of the competitions catered to someone that was tall. And it was so close, because maybe 3 times that I counted, Michael looked as if he was running to the finish line with the win. And I was going to say, wow, this guy's about to win his 7th veto. But out of nowhere, and when I say out of nowhere, I mean out of nowhere, Monty wins. And I don't even know how he went. Look, all I know is I saw Michael sprint, get caught up because he was still tangled. And then Julie said, Monty, you won. I was like, how did he? I don't even think I understood the rules of the game. It was so weird. It was like a weird competition. But apparently they had to untangle themselves and run to a buzzer or something. And Monty does it faster than anybody. So Monty wins that. Okay. But then the most surprising part of this episode occurs. Monty is holding these individual conversations in the room. And we all, if you were watching it like me, you don't have live feed access. And maybe even if you do have live feed access, you were still thinking the same thing. Like, okay, Monty's going to tell Alyssa she's safe, and he's pretty much going to lie to her, so forth and so forth and so forth. But what Monty tells Alyssa changes Big Brother 24 forever, okay? And the minute I heard it, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, oh my gosh. I cannot believe what I just heard. Monty tells Alyssa that she's safe. And when he tells her that, I'm like, so what? First off, my first thought was matter of fact, hey Tim, what was your first thought when you hear Monty tell Alyssa that? My first thought was, okay, maybe he's lying to her. That's my first thought. My second thought was, wait, he's about to go up. He's going to go against Taylor. What sense does that make? That was my second thought. And then he breaks it down. He said, you're coming down, and I'm putting Michael up. And I was like, couldn't believe he just said that. All right. Could not believe he just said that. He tells Alyssa that he's going to take her down and put Michael up. And then Turner comes in, because remember, it is Turner's HOH. So though Monty can pull Alyssa down using his veto, it ultimately boils down to Turner being courageous enough to take the shot. And you notice when Monty reveals his plan to Turner, Turner is terrified. He's like, wait, I gotta do this? Okay, so even though it is Turner's HOH, I believe that Monty completely blindsided Turner with this decision. Turner is expected to go into the room and have a conversation about who to take Brittany out. That's what Turner expected to talk about. But when Monty says, no, we got to take the shot. We got to take the shot. Turner is visibly shaken, confused, and afraid. Okay, period. So for me, Monty's a better player than Turner on that basis. When Turner heard that move, Turner was visibly afraid. Monty was ready to take the shot. I'm telling you right now, you can disagree with me if you want to. Monty is a better player than Turner. I believe that because in this game, it's about who makes the shot, who takes the shots, who hits the shots. Turner was prepared to give Michael $750,000. And you know how I know that? Because he put up Brittany and Alyssa. When you do that, that tells me you're, and trust me, had the episode ended there, all I would have heard in my live feeds, all I would have heard on the forums was how dumb of a move that was. Okay, and this is also what I would have heard from real seasoned players and watchers and viewers. They would have said this is the worst season of Big Brother ever because everyone's friends. That's what every veteran viewer would have said. But it wasn't until Monty made the decision and made the call and said Alyssa will be safe. And he pitched the idea to Turner. Turner was terrified. Okay, he's like, hey, make sure you got the pick. Do you got the votes to do that? Because he understands how terrifying Michael is. And if you don't hit that shot, oh my gosh, you got a lot of problems coming your way. But to my surprise, we fast forward to the veto swap, whatever it's called. And Monty does exactly what he said he would do. He brings Alyssa off the block. And then I'm sitting there wondering, like, is Turner going to do it? Is Turner going to do it? Because I'm like, Turner is probably either one, too afraid of Michael, or two, too aligned and friendly with Michael. So something in me just felt like Turner would betray Monty's idea and maybe put up Taylor. And I'm like, in my head, I'm already doing the calculations. Okay, Brittany versus Taylor. Who wins that? Who wins that? But to my surprise, and I'll be honest, I was surprised by this, Turner makes the freaking decision to put Michael on the block. Whoa. I mean, Michael, you can tell that Michael was Michael was more upset than Daniel. If you can even believe that. Michael was more upset than Danielle. Nicole. I'm sorry, I could call her Danielle. Hold up. All right, Monty takes down Alyssa. Turner puts up Michael. Oh my gosh. Michael was more upset than Daniel. Now, I don't know if you remember, but when Daniel is on the block and he goes home, all that type of stuff, Daniel is so upset he blows up everyone's game. So much so that even Terence says, I'm about to do the Daniel. He references Daniel's exit. But Michael could not. Michael was visibly, he was like shaking, okay? Michael was so surprised by this move. He was like shaking and he couldn't talk and he was nervous and he just did not expect this to happen. Michael had been winning so long that when this happened, it almost was like being blindsided, like in a football game. If you've ever been a football player, you probably haven't, but I played football, and one time I got blindsided, didn't even know who hit me. And I just got up, was like, yo, what just happened? That's what happened with Michael. Michael was visibly disturbed by this move because he already saw the writing on the wall. He's sitting on the block with Brittany, and he knows what's coming next. It's like death row for Michael at this point. He knows he's done. He knows he's done. All right. So anyway, I'm over here in the comments. I see a lot of things popping up on me. Let me see. Turner said, Tim says, yeah, they all were sleeping in their spots on the couch. And then the next time we saw them, they were meditating, but everybody was meditating but Terence. I didn't see that, Tim. I just didn't see it. What's up, Sharon? What's going on? I didn't see that, T. I didn't see that. I missed that. What's up, Sharon? All right. Anyway, Tim says, I was shocked he said that. And oh yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about what Monty said. I hope that's because I might have missed your comment as I was talking about it. And if we're talking about the same thing, me and you both, brother. Trust me on that one. What's up, Kobe? So happy Michael is out. Oh my gosh, here we go. What's up, Kobe? Kobe doesn't like Michael. Case closed. All right, then my main man Tim says, but I did tell you Michael was not going to make it through, and you did say that. You did say that, and you know who I said. I thought Turner would leave, and I knew that somebody was gonna bring it up. And Tim, I got to give you your credit. You did call it. I didn't. I don't know how I missed it. I don't know how I missed it. All right, what's up, Jay? My main man Jason Lowe's in the house. All right, y'all, let me get back focused. Y'all got me all over the place. All right, anyway, Michael makes a bold and daring eviction speech. Listen, when the eviction speech happens, Michael shows you, or he showed me rather, he showed me how you're supposed to make an eviction speech. Most eviction speeches this season have been, Mom, Dad, I love you. Everyone, have a good. I'll be home. I'm so happy. I'm proud of you. Listen, house guests, I'm best for your guest. What is that? You want to go home? Because that's how you go home. Michael shows you the blueprint on how to make an eviction speech. Hey, anybody watching this, what did you think about Michael's eviction speech? Michael threw everybody under the bus. He threw Brittany. He said she a floater. She sucked, and she been riding his coattail. And he makes the most. He makes a beautiful speech. I'm paraphrasing because I forget everything he said in particular. But some of the most standout points was he just straight up says it. He says, "Ladies, they're gonna destroy you." He's talking to Taylor and Alyssa. He's like, listen, ladies, if you vote me out, you two will be next. These two have an alliance talking about Turner and Monty. And he says something to the effect that they want to take Brittany to the end because they can beat her. And Brittany just breaks down and starts bawling because Michael is being so honest. She's been right next to this guy the whole season, and she never thought or never knew he had these ideas floating through his mind. And you can see Monty just getting nervous, like, whoa, okay, Michael is a strong player. Michael hit them with some. He was so convincing that I thought he would flip the house because it was such a good argument. And I think if Taylor and Alyssa were stronger players, they would have flipped the house. And that's an arguable decision because if you flip the house, okay, you flip it, you get out Brittany, but is that really a good move? Probably not. And you keep Michael around. So maybe I'm wrong in this case. Maybe it was smarter to do what they did. I'm a fan of the game, and I wanted to see something crazy happen. I want to see Michael on his last leg just shoot a half court buzzer beater and go in. Michael went in. He destroyed Brittany. He put a huge target on Monty and Turner, and he put Alyssa and Taylor on notice, saying, "Look, they're only taking you to the end because they think they can beat you." And Brittany, she's a floater, basically. He just was very, very thorough, and he said about 7,000 words in 1 minute. I never seen somebody so accurately bring out an entire plan. He said about 7,000 words in 60 seconds, and I was like, that guy's a lawyer. Okay, that was insane. I never seen a eviction speech that precise, that convincing, and Michael throws Brittany under the bus. I can tell you how convincing Michael's speech was. I'll tell you how convincing it was. If you missed this, go back and watch when Alyssa goes into the room to vote Michael out. Watch her face. I made a couple mental snapshots of her face. She looked confused. She looked as if she had got hit with an uppercut and just was like, she like a deer in headlights. She heard what Michael had said, and she's fighting against her own conscience on camera live. And because it's live, there's no editing to save it. Alyssa is just, and she's waiting for Julie to finish talking. But while Julie is talking, I'm paying attention to her eyes. She's just like Michael just told me that Turner and Monty are going to take me out. This is her thoughts. And I know he's not lying. But if I keep Michael, he's going to take me out. She's visually she's thrown off. If you go back and watch the episode, watch her face. It says everything that she's thinking. You can't miss it. Anyway, she looks completely confused. Okay, and then Michael gets voted out. All right, it only took 2 votes for him to go out. And let me tell you, man, what do you feel about Michael going out? Kobe has already put it out there. He's happy to see him leave. Listen, I haven't seen my Facebook friends. I haven't heard what they're going to say, but I already know what they're going to say. A lot of them are very, very upset with Michael about what he did to Kyle. They felt like that crossed gameplay lines. And trust me, a lot of people wanted Michael out. And I'm not one of them. I wanted Michael to win this game because I wanted to be right. For my own selfish reasons. Like I said, I picked Pooch and Michael at the beginning of the game. So I wanted Mike to win so I could feel like I was a big brother aficionado and I could see the big brother future and whatever. No, that didn't happen. So, yeah. But, yeah, Michael, he got voted out. I can't believe this, y'all. Can't believe it. So, anyway, we know, or I should say, then Julie reveals to us that Sunday's episode will take place at 8:30. So that's a little different. I think it's because of football. So just know that it's going to be 30 minutes late, depending on where you live. Eastern Standard Time, West Coast. It's going to be 30 minutes late. That's according to Julie. And then you know how they do it. Once the episode is starting to go off the air, they allow us to hear some conversations, some diary room confessions. Brittany is distraught. They actually go back into the house, and Brittany is bawling, and she's talking to the remaining house guests, the remaining 4, and she's pointing out how distraught she is about Michael's comments. And they do reassure her, and I was surprised they did this. I thought this was maybe a bad move. I believe it was Monty or Turner who says, I don't think he feels that way about you. I mean, he's a super fan. He knew exactly what to say. And Brittany's like, I know, but I just didn't think he would say that. And I'm like, if I was one of them, I would have been like, I can't believe he said that to you, Brittany. That was your best friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, dig a deeper hole for him. I mean, look, that's a super player. That means that when he gets to jury, he knows exactly how to steer the jury too. Look, I don't think Michael was just a one-trick pony. I thought that Michael was an all-around player. I thought he was incredibly good at competitions. I thought he was amazing socially. Okay, and I know he's gonna bring something hot to the jury as well. He knows the entire game, so I would have dug him as deep as possible. That's just me. Anyway, she's visibly distraught. She hates Michael throwing her under the bus, but Brittany did the same last episode. I made a note of that. Brittany was like crying and bawling, and I'm like, Brittany, just last episode you were making secret deals behind Michael's back. Do you not think that and he heard about the deals. So I think that's why Michael really went in on Brittany, because Turner brought that information to Michael. And I'm not sure that Brittany knew that Turner did that. So when Michael was on the block, he had no allegiances to Brittany. He says, look, I know about your little secret deals and your secret plans, and you expected me to go out. So he let her have it. And a lot of people might not like it. Again, like I said, people are upset about Michael and his choice of gameplay. First off, twisting the words of Kyle. And some people, I can imagine, in this new culture that we live in, this more sensitive culture, a lot of people might be upset about what Michael said about Brittany. I haven't thought about it that much, but I'm just saying that it was pretty ruthless in my opinion. I thought it was good gameplay. If you're asking me, it was good gameplay, and I support it because it's a game. And the same way I support Brittany backstabbing Michael. I mean, it's Big Brother. I mean, if you can't come into Big Brother playing the sensitive game. You can't be that sensitive. So, what do you think about tonight's episode? What do you think about Michael's eviction? I'm gonna tell you right now. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to see it because, like I said, he was already making history. He won 6 vetoes, surpassing Janelle, and him and Janelle are tied with 9 competitions total in one season. So I really wanted to see Michael get 10 victories, because I felt like at that point he'd be undeniably one of the best players of all time. I think because he got kicked out so early in the top 6, I think that's going to be a strike against him, because I believe Janelle made it as far as the finals, and I think that's going to continue to allow people to put her above Michael, though I thought Michael made a great case for himself. But yeah, that's what I think right there. All right, I'm over here in the comments. What's up, y'all? My main man Tim says that mouth drop though with Brittany. Brittany was just, she couldn't believe what she had heard. Like I said, that's kind of like my wife and I, when we have arguments. Sometimes she hit me with a low blow. I'm like, oh, okay. That's how you feel. like we make up, but still, I'm like, okay, but you did still say that. All right. And then my main man Jason said his speech was epic. Yes, Jay. Look, that's one of the. I'm gonna go on record and say this. That's one of my favorite eviction speeches of all time. Of all time. If you haven't seen it, you got to see this man fight for his life. I said that's a real fan. This is somebody who really wants to win, not even for the money, but for the glory. And he was willing to do anything he could to win that. And I respect what Michael did tonight. And I have to say that's one of the best eviction speeches I've ever heard. Just being honest, that's one of the best I've heard. I haven't, Anyway, I wanted Mike out, and after his speech, I was like, dang, he makes a lot of sense. Exactly. Look, I wanted Mike to stay, but I always look at the game from a dual perspective. Like, okay, what if I hate Mike? What am I hearing right now? And even if I hated Mike, as I went through my mental Rolodex, as I was listening to myself, like even if I hate Mike, that was still a great speech, which is why I say it's one of the best I've ever heard. I don't know. A lot of people when they're leaving, they try to be very judicial. I didn't like the way that Kyle left. I thought Kyle was too nice. He was still apologetic. I was like, I'm not with that. I don't like that. So when Michael does this, I'm like, yes, this is the way you're supposed to fight for your life in this game. You're supposed to put it all on the line. There's no more friendships. You're supposed to talk common sense into these people, because only one person is going to win. So when Alyssa and Taylor go home, if they don't win, I can't say for sure. I don't have no idea who's going to win this game at this point. But if Alyssa or Taylor don't win, that speech from Michael is going to resonate. That's going to be something they're going to hear 80 years from now, because they're going to say he was absolutely right. You don't do somebody else's biddings. All right. Even though, and then Michael said something so compelling. He said this was the most important part that I forgot. Michael says, if you two keep me in the game, he's talking to Alyssa and Taylor. If you keep me in the game, I'll go after them. So even though Michael is a huge threat, he knows who betrayed him. So that's why I'm keeping Michael. Call me crazy. Okay. Call me crazy. I'm keeping Michael because Michael said the magic words. He's going to go after 2 huge threats. And guess what? He would have the ability to play in the HOH the following week, and he has the capacity to win a veto just about every time. That's why I'm keeping Michael, because it was the top 6. Maybe if it was top 4, I wouldn't keep him. But in the top 6, when you still got 2 players like Monty and Turner in the game who are working together, that was the most important part. Monty and Turner are working together. That's terrifying. That's like a Michael. Okay, Michael was kind of like a Monty and Turner combined. So I mean, it's almost like if you were Alyssa or Taylor, it's like, listen, we can keep our girls alliance intact. It's it's me, you, and Brittany. And well, Brittany would have got kicked out. So Brittany leaves the game, but for Alyssa and Taylor, I'm like, hey, man, you stay here. Let's let these guys go to war. Because Michael said the magic word. He says, if you keep me in the game, I'll go after them. And you had to notice, if that would have happened, if they would have voted Brittany out, oh my gosh, Michael, Monty, and Turner, that battle would have been epic. And it would have been so epic that they would have been blinded from even looking at Alyssa and Taylor. So it's my opinion that they made a terrible decision tonight on that basis. I get it. On paper, Michael has to go. I get that. But this is chess, not checkers, okay? If in a checkers game, you get the biggest player out, you're done, you're happy, everybody goes home. This is chess. And you still got a juggernaut in the game, a two-headed monster named freaking Murner, okay? Turner and Monty. Listen, Michael would have battled them for the ladies, and that would have been the right move, in my opinion. Now, I'll admit I'm wrong if one of those two win, but if they don't, this was the area where they messed up. They should have kept Michael in, let him battle Monty and Turner. Once one of them left, then reassess. To me, that was a missed opportunity. My personal opinion on that. All right, Michael is a selfish guy. He was only there to make the money. He's pretty selfish. I'm not going to argue against you on that. I think he would have done that to his man outside the house if he played this season too. Listen, I'm not going to argue against the fact that Michael is selfish. I will call it, I would say competitiveness. I get all that. But again, looking at it from both sides of the coin, I would argue that he's pretty selfish as well. It is what it is. Okay. Jason says, why else would you be there, Tim? It's not the money, then why go? Exactly. So that's what I was saying. I was going to say competitiveness. You're trying to, you're trying to win some money. So, and then it's like, this is one of my least favorite things. We talked about Paul yesterday. People destroyed Paul for the game he played. And I understood it from an emotional standpoint. Paul played a terrible game. He called people best friends and he stabbed them in the back. And then they hated him so much they allowed Josh to win. I get that. But I'm like, man, what else was he supposed to do? It's a competitive game. And I guess people don't know how to separate the game from their feelings because they are intertwined. How do you remove a shell from the egg? Terrible analogy. The point is, the competition itself is so intertwined with emotion that it's a very, very delicate process to be able to separate the two. And let's face it, if you got kicked out of a game, you don't really care about the competition anymore. It's about getting back and getting even. So at that point, you're not even thinking about, oh, he was a good player. You're thinking about, I want to get him back, and I'm gonna do anything I can to get her back, or whatever the case might be. But anyway, I waved at the TV and I did flip him off. Oh, come on, Tim. You hate him that bad? Goodness gracious, Tim, come on. So Tim flips off Michael as he leaves the game. I didn't know you. Okay, I didn't know you hated Michael that much. All right, Jason. I know that I'm just saying his man was there. He would have did the same to him. Let me see. Would be like vote how you want, not doing. Okay. Yeah, I mean, listen. I don't get the Michael. I mean, no, I'm sorry. I get the Michael hate, but like the guy was pretty dope. I like Mike. I'm not gonna lie to you. All right, I think he didn't win because Big Brother wants you to still watch. They watched the show. You said you wouldn't watch anymore if Michael wins. Yep, I did say that. I felt like if Michael got to the finals, and by that point he would have racked up about 12 wins overall, between 10 and 12 wins. And if he would have got to the end being a comp beast from day one, I'll be honest with you, I probably would have never watched the game again. I would have probably, once the next season came on, if I saw the cast and they were like these young, happy people, I'm like, no, I'm not watching it. I just saw the GOAT of Big Brother. I don't need to watch it again. And maybe Tim, maybe that's what it is. But that's where I'm at with it, y'all. I'm gonna do one more episode because we got to have this conversation. I'm not gonna even reveal it because I feel like if I do that, it would take some of the fun out of it. But yeah, I know it's late. I'll see y'all tomorrow, but I'm gonna be here to knock out this next episode in the next about 10 minutes. And there's only one question remaining, and that's what this next episode is about. It's only one question, folks. If you got some energy in you, you got to come over to this next episode because it's only one question remaining. We'll talk about that next. All right, peace.